Market update here on the 17th. You might hear some drilling in the background, like what you're hearing now. I'm in a condo area, so you might hear that during the video. Let's get into the market today. It was a massacre all around, especially for tech. I'm going to go over the tech stocks mostly. SoFi held up great. Awesome to see. And let's start off here with Meta, actually. Meta is correcting pretty hard here. If you go back to what I said 558 was my target for the top. Came very close. I sold somewhere in this area, and we get a big sell-off, so it's kind of expected. But it is still a pretty crazy sell-off. They're at 543. Now we're at 461. I have sold puts on this. And it's not exactly the best setup. You do have the 200 DMA down here. You're below the 20, or below the 50 and the 20. So it could be coming all the way down here to 424, but the premium was so good. And the way I'm looking at this is, even if it comes all the way down here to 405, it's probably going to go to new highs. And Meta has I can get 20 forward PE now. Really low PE compared to the rest of the tech stocks. So it's probably one of the best value to go ahead and sell puts on if you're going to take the premium. Has earnings coming up in a couple weeks. So yeah, on this chart, I'm starting to think that this is a diagonal. That's the thing that makes the most sense to me. So we get this move all the way up, grind up for 9 years, sell off into 22, grind up to the top of the parallel line here, here in the last month or so, basically hit the top here, and now we're correcting. I think this can come all the way down here to daily and weekly demand down here around 400. So it's still got a ways to go, but after it hits that area, I'm looking for it to look basically like this. Probably something like that. And then that would be the diagonal. It might not even be a diagonal. This might not even come down here to 379. 379 is the top here. It could stay on top of that, but if it comes down here to 379, it'd be considered a diagonal. And then you'd have that one melt up in 2025 to probably $600–700. So Meta is selling off. It actually blew through the demand zone I had drew up here. Let's see where it's at. This right here, 471 to 479, blew right through it. So that's not even valid anymore. The next big one is down here. So I think we might see a bounce here in the next couple of days, but it just keeps on going down. Standard deviation way outside the hourly, daily. So this might end up actually being a ABC move, like that. And I might have been wrong about this being 5 waves. It was kind of a weird 5-wave move. It does look like 5 waves, but I mean it could be an ABC as well. And this is a C wave down. That could take a while. This could just be wave 1. Let's see where the 1.61 fib is. This is probably wave 1. So you're probably going to see a retracement into earnings. And maybe it only retraces to the gap fill from today. Just assuming it's done. I'm not going to go on the smaller time frames and look at it, but you'd be looking for a retracement probably to 500. And then you'd be looking for a third wave down. So a third wave down would be 413, bounce, come down here into weekly demand, maybe 375 to 400, and then start the move higher in 2025. Back to the parallel line like that. So I'm still bullish on Meta, and that's why I sold puts on it. I'm not really that worried. Even if it came all the way down here to 420 or below, even 400, I'd be completely fine with it because the retracement's going to take it all the way back here to 480, 490, etc. So my sold puts would be fine. So Meta probably going down, but really, really oversold right now. On the daily RSI, it is 38. So it's got a ways to go on that, and I think it probably will get oversold before we see the next move up. But right now, it is really weak. QQQ, I have this drawn up. Let me zoom out here. So I told you that this is probably finished overall, but I've said in the past that I think this is going to end up being a expanded flat. I think this is going to end up doing something like this. So I think we're probably in that A wave. That's my guess. Could come much lower. Right now, the demand zone I see is down here at 467. There's one down here at 455 though too. If Meta is going to go down to 400, you're going to see 10-15% more on this. You're probably seeing 440s, maybe even lower than that. Maybe down here to the bottom of this 442 to 445. Not 100% sure on that, but I do think that we're probably going to see an expanded flat in 2025. So I personally think that this is either done. It's possible it could be an extension as well, but I think that you're going to see a big move higher still in 2025. All right, Tesla. So Tesla had been kind of taking it easy, didn't really participate in the sell-off that much. Good to see typical fourth wave, like I talked about in the last video. I think you might see this over the next couple of days, potentially, and then maybe into earnings, and then maybe sell off after earnings. I just think it needs to come down here to 220 to 230 one more time. I have that parallel line right here, cross that parallel line in the middle, and then I think it's ready to go. I think it's probably going to 350. So Tesla, yeah, looking for maybe one more bounce up here to 260 and then selling off to 220, 230. It could just sell off from here too. But it's really just in no man's land between these demand and supply zones. Expecting it down here though at some point, probably in the next couple of weeks. AMD, I sold this. I got somewhat lucky because I thought I was going to go to 190, but I sold around 186, 187 because I didn't want to be greedy. And sure enough, just sells off hard. I did actually start a position today, though, for a bounce, and I'm down a few hundred on that. I think I started it at 163.50, right into this demand zone, and it went lower. So we'll see how it goes. I think it probably finished. It might have finished the 5 waves today. Third wave here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It bounces, and then we get some kind of move down here lower. That's probably a 5th wave. Oh, and this is a truncated move as well. This right here, we got a 3rd wave, 4th wave, and the 5th wave does not go above the 3rd wave, and we get the 1st wave down. So I think that it could go lower. It could go to 156 maybe, but I think it's going to bounce similar to Meta whenever earnings are. I don't know when earnings are, but probably going to bounce back to like 170 to maybe 180. Maybe fill the gap here from today. So 175. But again, I'm not seeing that much option flow that's bullish on any of these. So be careful if you're playing bounces. Let's go over Apple. So Apple is very similar to Meta, but on a smaller time frame. This is probably, I've been talking about this being diagonal for a while. This could come all the way down to 195 and then melt up like that. So I think Apple's just getting started on its correction. Haven't been following it that much, but it looks to me like it's getting ready to do a fifth wave. Potentially that. But I think it's going down to probably 200 or so over the next 3 or 4 months. I don't think this is going to be a quick correction. I think people are still stuck in the mindset of we're going to go straight back up. There is going to be a bounce soon, but I think that we're going to see more downside continuation. Let's go over SPY. SPY is the chart I have actually drawn up pretty well, I think. I just have my expectations of where this is going to go. It could just come down here to 537, but I'm expecting it to come down here to weekly demand 498 to 513. That's what I'm looking for, right? Like that. So maybe it only lasts into October, maybe all the way to the election, and then a fifth wave in 2025. So you can see we still got like at least a couple of months on this correction, in my opinion. Just getting started. Let's go over Microsoft now. Microsoft straight down. It's tough to tell on Microsoft. This could end up being a fourth wave. Let's zoom in though, and I think this 5 waves is finished. So it's going to bounce back regardless. I'd be looking for at least a 50% retracement here at 453. So 453 all the way up to 462, maybe going into earnings. And then it's probably going to sell off more as well. Big zone down here. So maybe bottom somewhere in the low 400s. But I think a bounce here short term makes pretty good sense. Yeah, it's kind of debatable if this is a fourth wave right here and that was the fifth wave, or um, yeah, I'm not sure on that one. But 5 waves down, bounce. We'll see what happens. Okay, Nvidia. We got to go over Nvidia. Nvidia is working out perfectly. I talked about in a video a few weeks ago. 134 is probably going to be the end of it. I didn't see it going up higher. Sure enough, we sell off. It actually hit close to the demand zone. I think it's probably going to come down a little bit more. Maybe tomorrow it comes down here and finishes this here at 113. It looks to me like a fourth wave. So I think this is probably maybe do something like that. It's possible too. It's possible that this could be a third wave, but I don't think so. I think it's probably just ABC. So if you're buying between 112 and 116, you'll probably do pretty well. Again, it's debatable whether this topped out or not. Or is this a fourth wave? I originally had said this is a fourth wave, but then I did the parallel lines, and this hit perfectly in the parallel line. So I was kind of going back and forth on this being a fifth wave or not. This could be that as well. And if that means if you're buying down here to 112, 116, you're going to make big money. But it also could be third wave ended right here, fourth wave, fifth wave, we're just starting the correction down. So I don't know, but 112 to 116 should be a pretty good buy overall. And if it keeps on going to the 1.61 fib somehow, you have a gap fill here at 106.65. You can just add there too, and then look for a bounce. What else do I look at today? BA, I've been playing this for a week now, basically. I have this going to 200 minimum. I think that this is WX, so we have A, B, C like that, X, and then we have A, B, and C like that. So I think that this is going to go to at least 200, maybe 204, but we'll see. It's starting off with a first wave here. This broke the low. Yeah, this is probably a first wave. Could have already made the second wave. I missed my entry by about 20 cents right here. But again, I think this is probably going to the 1.61 fib from here. 195, pullback, and then this gap fill here at 200. So BA looking pretty good compared to the rest of the stocks, tech stocks. EMPH, I'm playing a bounce on this as well. I am looking to enter. I have a little bit of position right now I'm down on. I will add more in this box. I'm looking for somewhere up in here. Maybe 130 to 140, something like that. So that's a pretty good swing play overall. Even if it did fall, you can see here that this is A, B. This could even be the start of the C wave higher. So I think it's going to like 170 to 200 potentially. And IWM, I probably should go over that. So in the last video on SoFi, I said a fourth wave is probably starting. That's probably exactly what's happening. It could be a long, drawn-out fourth wave. This one took 2 months, so this could end up being, you know, something like that, and then go for a fifth wave higher, similar to what I'm saying about tech and SPY. So I'm going to leave it at that for this video. Tough sell-off, but we should be getting a bounce here soon, and probably going to be bouncing into earnings. I'm expecting earnings to be a bearish catalyst, though. So I'll let you know if anything changes. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe. I'm putting out these videos less because I'm traveling right now, so I'll do the best I can. But let me know if there's any stocks you want me to look at in the comments. All right, have a good night.